Welcome to today's MJ News Digest, October 10, 2020. How are you doing? Here are today's headlines. MJ Chef Supreme, rest in peace Eddie Van Halen. MJ and Q production secrets. MJ the Musical Postponed again, and 10th annual Thriller dance. So our first story is from thethings.com. It's a rehash from a news item from a few years ago, but it's interesting. Here's what Paris Jackson has said about Dad Michael Jackson's cooking. Apparently he didn't seem like the type of person to cook. Apparently. Let's see where this article is going. I think we know what kind of food Michael Jackson liked to cook. So there are some celebrities who make it big time and others who leave behind a legacy. Michael Jackson is dubbed the King of Pop by music colleagues in the entertainment industry, left behind a legacy that is unmatched by any artist today. The singer is famous for tracks like Billie Jean, Pretty Little Thing, and Thriller. Jackson's dance moves have become iconic, such as his famous moonwalk and lean from Smooth Criminal. Since his unfortunate passing on June 25, 2009, fans and musicians have honoured his memory. Jackson's family and children, especially his eldest daughter Paris Jackson, have even kept the memory of her father alive. Of course, sources note the 22-year-old still misses her famous father. Of course she does. Okay, so Michael Jackson cooking his favourite food. Michael Jackson didn't seem like the type of person to cook, given his busy schedule with meeting tour dates, songwriting and making music videos. That would be short films, thank you. Though the father of three made sure he fed his children. Thank goodness for that. Paris Jackson revealed some new information about the King of Pop in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine years after his death. Jackson has since described his father as a kick-ass cook when it came to whipping up good hearty food. It seems unlikely that the Billie Jean star would prepare fried chicken, but Jackson's love for the fried cuisine can further be confirmed after watching a YouTube video of Magic Johnson speaking at his memorial service. The basketball star revealed the time he discovered his idol's love for the fried food after watching him eat a whole bucket of KFC chicken. Not only did Michael Jackson have an affinity for fried chicken, but he also loved to cook sweet potato pie. Paris further revealed to Rolling Stone that her father taught her how to cook sweet potato pie. The 22-year-old wasn't the only fan of her father's sweet potato pie recipe though. The pop star's recipe was later published in Frank DeCaro's cooking anthology of the Dead Celebrity Cookbook. A genius songwriter, dancer, musician, and now master cook, Michael Jackson was certainly the multi-talented star. Okay, so on to some sad news. Eddie Van Halen, his sad passing. This was all over the news, as it should have been, and on Twitter, but I'm highlighting an article from The Economist. Remembering Eddie Van Halen, guitar hero, one of rock pioneers, died on October 6th. Eddie Van Halen did not play his most famous solo for his own band. He was asked to perform on Michael Jackson's Beat It, one of the biggest singles of all time by Quincy Jones. Unwilling to deal with complex business arrangements, Mr. Van Halen offered to play for a case of beer and dancing lessons from Jackson. He arrived at the studio, rearranged the song, recorded 2 takes and told the producers to pick the best one, all in less than an hour. As usual, he did more with less and generated joy. Now, when the sad news broke on Twitter, it was followed by obviously news reports, as I mentioned, but some of the fans picked up on what they considered to be news articles from the white press, which were kind of asserting that Eddie Van Halen actually wrote Beat It rather than Michael. Now, we know that Michael wrote Beat It, we've all heard the demos. Eddie Van Halen was responsible for the guitar solo, so I guess wrote the guitar solo, and rumour has it that he decided to play the guitar solo in a different section of the song, which meant that the song had to be be restructured. But nevertheless, Eddie Van Halen's contribution to not only Beat It but also to the world of music is unparalleled, and sending all our love and thoughts out to Eddie's family and friends. Onto musicradar.com. 5 songs producers need to hear by Quincy Jones by Daniel Griffiths. Interesting article. Jump to the front of the queue. It's time to take some tips from the master. So they're choosing 5 of Quincy's produced songs, and they've chosen 1 of Michael's, but they also talk about Michael quite a bit in this article, so we're going to cover all of it. Michael Jackson Don't Stop to Get Enough is the Michael Jackson song that they've decided to highlight out of all the MJ Jones collaborations. Okay, let's get this party started with this absolute tidal wave of a track. Trust us, picking just one of MJ's Jones-produced hits for this list was a nightmare. Beat It, Billie Jean, Thriller, on and on they go. But Don't Stop clinches it for us for so many reasons. Firstly, it's the first song MJ wrote solo and his first single from his first solo album, and as the way he rolls his sleeves at 21 seconds in the video makes clear, this guy means business. Next, it's the super fresh combo of Quincy Jones, MJ, and the secret weapon that is mix engineer Bruce Swedien, who are all, perhaps unwittingly at the time, at the top of their game. Jones, fresh from scoring the Wiz soundtrack starring Jackson as the Cowardly Lion, no, he was a scarecrow, was asked by MJ if he knew any good producers who might like to tackle his first solo cut, and the rest is history. Quincy imbues Don't Stop with a multitude of musical bombs, from the ambient tin can percussion to the loud resonant post-bridge toms, to the looming glimmers of dark strings and the party in the background during the break. And let's not forget that Jackson sings the whole song in a never-repeated falsetto. I think they've failed to listen to the entirety of Michael's back catalogue. Anyway, finally, the whole business is perfectly captured by Swedien using the Acusonic recording process. This wasn't some magical new studio black box as was thought at the time, but merely the way Swedien used SMPTE code to synchronise the 24-track tape machines used to record the track. Okay, this goes into some production heavy jargon, but bear with me. Swedien became obsessed with the fact that the more the analog tape was played, the duller the transients on it became. Convinced that he could hear the tape getting worse each time he played it, as a result he took to recording the rhythm section of the band onto their own 24-track and then putting this away until the final mix, whereupon this fresh, never played take would be flown in sync with the rest of the track. Whether you believe it or not, there's no denying that the drums and bass all through Off the Wall and Thriller are second to none. If you've yet to partake, do take the time to grab the kick and snare from the opening moments of Beat It, You Can Thank Us Later, and do take a moment to revel in the closing passage of Don't Stop in its full album form, as Swedien slowly fades that awesome rhythm section at 5 minutes 30 seconds, melting things away to reveal the airy tapping percussion and relentless guitar and clav parts that have secretly been powering the track for its duration. Perfection. So it goes on to mention other tracks, and as I said, Michael is mentioned again, especially in this one, Donna Summer, Love Is In Control. I wasn't aware of this. This is interesting. So this was a Quincy produced album and song before Thriller. It says here, this track and the rest of the Donna Summer album is therefore the sound of Jones shifting gear and warming up for Thriller, which of course would go on to become the biggest selling album of all time. And many of the tracks on board share direct DNA with Jackson's biggest hits. Firstly, it's Jones's first airing of his New England digital synclaver synth, credited on the sleeve notes, which would go on to provide those clanging chimes at the start of Beat It. Plus, the track was co-written by Rod Temperton, who'd penned Rock With You, Off the Wall for MJ, and would later co-write Thriller, amongst others. Love Is In Control also served as a practice run for the similar vocodo-loving PYT for MJ. And if you close your eyes, you can practically hear MJ's own vocals here, complete with who's and oh yeahs. But most of all, it features a stripped back, funky, spacious sound that gives every element room to breathe while still knocking the wind out of you. Basically what was to become the prototypical MJ sound. So, does Love Is In Control sound similar to PYT? Well, spoiler alert, yes it does. Take a listen for yourself. If Donna's going to play, come on love, give us Love Is In Control. Here we go. Yeah, it does sound very similar to PYT, doesn't it? It's really interesting. Okay, so the next Michael Jackson reference here is at the end of the article where they give a few honourable mentions. So this is talking about Bad. It says here, you probably already know that the track features a blistering solo by famous jazz organist Jimmy Smith. Dropping at 2 minutes 29 seconds, it magically segues into an explosive synth solo from Greg Fillinganes. However, so keen were Jackson and Jones to wring every nugget of gold out of Smith's badass performance They even mic'd him up to capture his breathing and the sound of his fingers on the keys as he played. And I remember when the Bad album first came out, some of us fans, especially those of us who had decent sound systems or really good headphones, we could actually hear this. You could hear Jimmy Smith breathing and kind of grooving along with his performance. So check that out for yourself. Okay, it also mentions another track which is something which is very close to my heart because it's one of my favourite songs of all time by an artist that isn't MJ. So where is it? It mentions We Are the World too. It doesn't go into any great detail. But here we go. So it's the James Ingram and Michael McDonald song Yarmo Be There. Absolute classic. Produced by Jones, co-written by Temperton. Another Lynn drum heavy modern classic that's just skirted our top 5. What's interesting about this for me personally is that Yarmo Be There came out in 1983. When the Bad album came out and the first time I listened to Smooth Criminal, I could hear Yarmo Be There in the Smooth Criminal song. I'm going to demonstrate what I mean. So here is James Ingram's Yarmo Be There, produced by Quincy Jones. This was from 1983 on the album It's Your Night. Written by Michael McDonald, Rod Temperton, Quincy Jones. So yeah, this is 1983. This was a few years before Smooth Criminal. But see if you can hear the Smooth Criminal reference in this track. I'll play it twice, just in case you miss it. Now I'll just play it again in case you didn't catch that. It's very quick. So does that sound familiar? To me that sounds very much like Smooth Criminal, and I'll play this bit of Smooth Criminal. Now it's not directly the same, maybe it's a bit of a reach, but it just reminded me when I heard Smooth Criminal, it reminds me of Yarmo Be There. I like to think that perhaps Michael Jackson or maybe Quincy were playing reference to James Ingram, honouring him in some way. Obviously inspired, I think so, inspired by Yarmo Be There. Great song. And obviously James Ingram worked on the Bad album. Was it the Bad? No, the Thriller album. He worked on the re-recording of PYT. Okay, so over to Broadway news. MJ the Musical has been postponed again. It's moved its first preview date to September 2021. The musical was scheduled to make its world premiere this spring, but had to shift the date due to the extended shutdown on Broadway. So Broadway has been shut down until at least May of next year. Ephraim Sykes, no news on him, just to say that he was going to be playing MJ. So a new opening date has not been announced. This is the second time the musical has been rescheduled. Originally intended to begin performance on July the 6th of this year. Really sad, isn't it? I mean, obviously COVID has impacted a lot of industries, but Broadway really impacted by COVID. I wonder if MJ the Musical is going to go ahead. I wonder if a lot of musicals are going to start falling by the wayside with this extended lockdown. Anyway, on to our next story. Better news. Dancers of all skill levels welcome to perform Thriller for Halloween. I'm so glad I found this news story. I didn't know about this. As Lake Havasu City prepares for Halloween, a group of locals come together in order to fulfill a more than 10-year-old tradition. Every year on Halloween, dancers of all skill levels join together and perform MJ's hit song Thriller. So they've been doing this for the last 10 years and it's now become a tradition. That's amazing. This year, the effort is led by Geneva Gallagher, who will also be teaching the choreography to anyone who wishes to participate at no charge. That's awesome. The dance will take place under the London Bridge near the English Village at 7:15 on Halloween night, October 31. I love Halloween, Gallagher said, and I can't let it go by without doing Thriller. All ages are welcome, no dance experience required. Gallagher will teach the dance with the help of a YouTube video of instructions for Thriller specifically. You can learn the dance on your own or with Gallagher's instructions. Sign up by contacting Gallagher at sgck@sitlink.net or via Facebook. Participants are encouraged to meet up October 13th at 7:30 under the bridge to go through some practice steps and discuss the event. Wear comfortable shoes and bring a friend. Gallagher is hoping to have at least 20 dancers to perform Thriller, and there'll also be meetings on October the 20th and 27th to practice the group dance. And there they are from a previous event. Amazing, a 10-year tradition of performing Thriller on Halloween. How cool is that? Okay, so our YouTube recommendation of the day is from the excellent YouTube channel The Beautiful Poem. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. The Beautiful Poem creates these beautiful animations to Michael Jackson songs, and this is a teaser trailer for the latest effort, Michael Jackson Threatened. I'll play a little bit of this and link the full trailer in the description. And that's it for today's MJ News Digest. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment and subscribe because the best is yet to come.